So I would say a combination. It was actually quite a mass brand, but we had a controlled segments. So we've got sports gear, whether it be specific for running, for soccer, or other sports, which are quite obvious. You're looking for those moments where people are playing those sports. But the less obvious is lifestyle, and that's the big bulk of our business in this region. So it's about what gear do you use for clubbing, what gear do you go to school, what shoes are you going to wear when you go out at night. And we also have fashion labels with Alexander McQueen. And it's about targeting the high-end affluent consumer who want to know that they've got something exclusive. So for each of those different segments, we have different requirements, and actually trying to understand those requirements is the hardest part. So it could be a combination of drivers between understanding that I've got a limited edition Alexander McQueen shoe that's only 1,000 pairs in the world, and you can only get online, and we should do a lot of those collaborations and only target it at people in the know to get them, or to getting clothes that helps mix and match with their existing gear. So styling is a new area for us, where traditionally as a company we just sold products. Now we have to spend time understanding whether you want to make your legs longer, in different body shapes. And I think the consumer has really evolved. I've just spent time in Korea studying a bunch of guys and girls, and they tell me they actually spend a lot more time asking their peer groups, if I'm apple shaped, what top should I wear, rather than just looking at the model in one of our ads. And that's really changed the way how we market, because now we actually have to push images of different shapes of bodies and then talk to them in their language.
That's great. Alex, you obviously Nokia comes principally or historically from the hardware side of the equation. Can you talk to us a little bit about the total commerce ecosystem, communities, online, mobile access, and
Yeah, you're right. We are a hardware manufacturer. The thing is, literally, we identified social to be an important of our strategy at a very early stage. So it is right now. It's pretty much a big chunk and a big part of our overall marketing strategy. And we don't have the potential of selling anything online in a real direct way, because we don't have any online shops. Right. So for us, it's really what my colleague from Puma just mentioned, is connecting it with the offline and driving our consumers to our partner stores. I've got actually one comment you just mentioned with the fans. I think it is very important to have a lot of fans, but obviously it's also important how you engage these people. And I think if you have a fan group on a global scale, let's say, which is your global player, you have 80% Asian people who are completely into tech. It's good, but it's perhaps not the balance you want to have. So, and I think we also have to look what a consumer really wants. And I love the facts you throw around. It was really, really good. But I guess there's a very nice survey done by software giant IBM, who literally identified what a Facebook fan really wants. So what's the perception of becoming a fan out of the view from a Facebook fan as well as from a brand. So the brand literally says, right, people follow us because they are interested in product information, they want to know when our product's available, etc. And the fan literally says, no, I'm interested in exclusive deals. And that's why we have our colleague from Groupon sitting here, otherwise he wouldn't sit here right now. So it's literally that, it's exclusivity and so on. And I believe if we talk about commerce in a wider sense, we can apply all the high street heuristics to social or to digital as well, be it review and recommendations, be it rating scales, be it scarcity. So if you have an exclusive deal only in a certain online channel, you certainly can drive sales. But I guess the crux again lies in, if you see it through the entire commercial way, how can you run it on a very, very seamless and smooth integration using all of the channels.
Okay. Maybe Danny, can you give us an example of a brand or a company that has, I ask all the hard questions. Tell me about your successes. Focusing on how a brand or a company used Groupon or worked with you.
One of our merchants, partner merchants?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in terms of our partner merchants, I mean, I'm very upfront in terms of it doesn't work for everyone. What we do is basically we fill in capacity for restaurants or salons or for parlor sites. Our goal is now to, like, let's say you have a restaurant that's packed, and there's no available booking spaces, it's not for us. We'll tell them basically we're the wrong partners, because our message basically within a short period of time, you guys can distribute. Basically in Hong Kong we have a significant market share of all the internet users right now. Basically, so in such a short time, 24 hours, your message can be distributed to a wide audience in Hong Kong or in any one of our other 46 countries that Groupon is working with. There's so many cases, but basically, I think certainly I'm biased, but it's the best approach in terms of marketing-wise to a really broad audience, basically consumers which are looking for to try your product or try your brand.
I mean, I had seen, going back to the early days, the Triple O Burger experience, or can you highlight a couple of specific partners?
For Triple O's, we sold 70,000 hamburgers in 24 hours. I want to point out a different case, which was 2 months ago, which is quite interesting. In my opinion, it was very surprising. It was basically the first time we launched. We sold condoms online, right? It was a very taboo topic here in Hong Kong, right? But how many do you think we sold in basically 2 days for 48 hours? Anyone have any guesses? Well, it was $99 for 99 Playboy coupons.
Wow. Well, the topic is more interesting than cheeseburgers, so I think it's more than 70,000. I'll say 100,000.
We sold 1 million.
1 million. Wow.
We sold 10,000 sets. Basically, for Playboy, it created a lot of brand awareness just because basically, it was out there, correct? A lot of people were talking about this, and then in terms of the brand perception, even if we didn't buy it, people were talking about it, correct? So that was a big surprise to us here at Groupon Hong Kong, but also there's a demand for it, I guess, correct?
That's great. I'm just going to shift the topic here a little bit. We've been talking pretty much about consumer-oriented or B2C in this discussion so far, but I also want to bring in the B2B aspect. And I'd like if you guys on the panel could help explore the relationship between social and business to business, because many of us are in business to business or service businesses. I guess just from my perspective, what I find so interesting is you might start like a company homepage, and people would go on Facebook, and then they would like it, and then that's really all that they could do, right? But the reality, particularly in B2B, you get into really specific topics, right? Like machine tools for the shipbuilding industry or things like that. And I know from my experience in China, there's just tens of thousands of BBS and discussion boards on incredibly specific topics, right? Cable TV software, where to find raw materials or commodities, these kinds of things. So I wanted to explore a little bit about how that kind of not broad general interest product or service works, and how that can be used to drive sales. And I think, Linda, that is your name on it, so I'll ask you to address that.
Yeah, it's actually quite true in the B2B world about the importance of verticals. We have 44 different product categories, major product categories, and then you go more niche from there, because we sell everything from clothing and jewelry to bulldozers and cranes and chemicals and raw materials. It would be quite a challenge to actually target all of those verticals together. So what we've done is we've sort of taken a multi-approach strategy where, for example, in China, where most of our suppliers are, we do actually have very vertically oriented posts on Weibo. And we use that pretty extensively to help them understand a bit more about their industry. But globally, what we found is a lot of the users who are buying from the site or who are selling from other countries are looking for a combination of things. They're looking for information on trade and on import and export, very general information that applies to a variety of different industries. And particularly in B2B, it's very, very, very true that content is king. And particularly in our industry, because we deal with small and medium businesses, our customers tend to be a bit of a hybrid of a consumer mentality as well as a business mindset. Because they're small and medium businesses, so they have the emotional connection of an owner of a company who might make more of a consumer type emotional purchase decision. At the same time, they are thinking from a business perspective. So we have to walk that line, and social media is the perfect way for us to engage that in-between audience on both sides of the fence. So what we provide on social media is we tend to provide more information broadly about trade, but then we use social media to target the industry verticals that are most important to us, to draw the people from those industry verticals into the discussion. Because the other important thing about B2B is, a lot of people don't necessarily understand what Alibaba is when they first come in contact with it. We're not Amazon. You can't come to our site and drop something in a cart and walk away with it. You can't, 500 bulldozers put them in a cart and put in your Visa card. It doesn't really work that way. So there has to be much more of an engagement there, and we don't stock the items, again, like an Amazon. So we're really connecting people together. Therefore, what people want to hear is not necessarily from us, they want to hear from our customers. They want to hear from other people who use our platform that have done something similar and that can help them. So our forums are extremely important, and Facebook and Twitter are extremely important, not just to express our opinion, but to allow our users to generate their own content to actually share with each other. So if you really take Alibaba down to its core being, we're a user-generated site. All the content on there comes from other people. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring that community together and help them connect with each other so they can learn from each other, because there's no way that our company could know everything about all 44 of those different verticals and help all people in the same way.
And not to ask you a really easy question, but can you give a specific example of how a B2B business would either contribute content to those forums, or how do you engage with the Alibaba platform?
Sure. So, for example, one of the hottest topics that our customers care about is payment. How do I pay safely between regions? How do I deal with exchange rates? What's the difference between TT and using escrow payment, etc.? There's all sorts of questions around payment, and the more annoying thing about it is it's different for every country. So you wind up with a lot of different information that people need to understand. So one of the things that we did in the UK, for example, was we created a series of 10 videos that were education on different topics, including payment, that our customers cared about. But instead of actually having us do the videos ourselves, we enlisted customers and partners to talk about the different payment options, talk about what they think is best, both in the UK but also in other areas of Europe. These 10 videos in the first month that they were actually out there got 450,000 views. So that video content that wasn't coming from our voice but was coming from the users themselves was more credible and more interesting to people. Now, yes, we do have a payment platform in Alipay, but that's not necessarily, that's a payment platform mainly within China. So it doesn't necessarily apply to our users. So payment is something where we're more concerned about bringing them unbiased information from people who understand the ins and outs and the fees and everything that they need to know about payment, not necessarily promoting our own platform in this process. And that's why it's more important that we actually have the consumers or the customers themselves tell the story as opposed to us.
So Alex, I see you